Hello, back again. Okay, I couldn't not do more or say more about the last video I did, which was about why people struggle to leave DV relationships, because there's so much to say about that, and that was just a one small thing that I think does get in the way of not being able to make decisions to move away from unhealthy relationships. And we talked about kind of being stuck in that childlike persona where you feel you are a victim, you are vulnerable, you can't actually make, or you feel like you can't make choices to move away. I think there's so many other reasons that could be keeping you in that relationship, and I thought, well, let's just talk about a few more. One of them is, I know you're going to get so bored with me all saying this, but you know, those first 7 years when you've been programmed, brainwashed, conditioned, you are being taught how to manage emotions. Now, we've talked about this a lot, so I'm not going to go through it again, but if you've been taught repress, deny and avoid, and you are now in a relationship that is causing you anger, frustration, fear, shame, resentment, terror even, then when those emotions come up, you don't know what to do with them, so you repress them maybe, and they maybe come out sideways. You may turn them inwards and blame yourself. And so, of course, if you know you're going to, like, moving away from a partner that maybe you've been with for a long time, even if it's not working and even if it's not healthy, the thought of leaving brings up a lot of emotions that you don't know what to do with and you don't know how to manage. So, you know, maybe the guilt or excuse me, maybe the guilt or the fear is like you don't know what to do with it, so I don't want to go there, so I repress it and I stay. And it's not really until it gets really bad, and the reality is some people, it's not until they're threatened with death that they will actually make the choice to leave. And so it's not easy, and I think I just want to bring some compassion and kindness and understanding to what keeps us, because I think other people on the outside and it's interesting because I don't know about you, but I'm addicted to maths. I just think it's very fascinating for me as a therapist to see how people manage these relationships and see what the experts say. And I must admit, I think they do a great job, trying to help these people. But what I realise, everyone, having a go at that girl whose partner is not treating her the great, if you know, Tori and Jack. And I feel like everyone's seeing that he's not been actually treating her that nice. He's going behind her back. He's kind of being a little bit disrespectful to women. And of course, everyone's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And Tori's like, nah, I love him. Or I like him. I want to be with him. And I see what he's really like. And I think that's what it's like sometimes. It's like everyone can see this person that doesn't behave well or appropriately, and we're all going, what are you doing? What are you doing? And the person that's involved knows them very intimately at a very different level. And so for me, I think I agreed when she said, oh, you've got to trust me. And I thought, yes, imagine how she feels when everyone's saying, you shouldn't put up with this, you should leave, this is not good, he's a bad person. But she knows him perhaps a little bit better and a little bit more intimately, and sees what he's like behind closed doors, and maybe on the, so she's coming from a very different perspective. And I realize we have to respect people and their decisions to stay in relationships. And I very much respect people. I don't think they're silly or stupid or naive. I don't think they're childlike, even though I think you're in a childlike place. I don't see them as children. I see them as whole, healthy, well. I see them and I respect them. I choose to respect them, even if I see them in a relationship with someone that's probably not treating them fairly, nicely, kindly, disrespectfully. Who am I to tell somebody, oh, you should get out of there? Because I think actually that does the opposite. It just alienates that person even more, where they can't actually tell you what's going on. And I realise, and I suppose for me, I've learned to differentiate. If someone, I can see they're struggling, my job is to help them become more empowered, have higher self-worth, self-acceptance, learn to love themselves, learn to take responsibility for their emotional needs, stop thinking, help them understand they're not responsible for everyone, and it's not their job to heal everyone. And because I think it impacts people, well, if you've got a fear of failure, but you're with this person, and it could be men or women, I'm talking both here. I know majority is women, but I want to do both because I have seen both genders in unhealthy relationships. And for me, it's about understanding what drives you to keep going. And a lot of the time it's actually quite interesting. Well, if I leave, then I've failed. If I leave, then there must be something wrong with me. If I give up trying, then who am I going to be anymore? Like it's an existential crisis, an identity crisis. Well, if I leave, what does that say? And of course, a lot of people has invested a lot of time and energy and money. And of course, it's huge when you think, I'm going to have to, especially if there's family involved, if I move away, what we're going to do with the house and the money. And this is just going to get ugly and really bad, you know, especially if you're in a very highly charged relationship. You leaving, is it going to get better straight away? Probably not, maybe in time. But initially, while you're kind of, you know, and I've had the privilege of helping people go through it, and sometimes it takes a long time to sort of split everything and deal with the solicitors. And if you've got someone who's quite bitter and twisted on the other end of that, they might quite like making it hard work for you to walk away. And so I think unless you've stood in someone else's shoes, then it's maybe you haven't got a right to speak into that. Because we can't save people from themselves. They have to save them. This is the hero's journey. We have to save ourselves. No one's coming. No knight in shining armor. No one. We have to save ourselves. And I think we've been conditioned and brainwashed to believe that, you know, someone outside of us, you know. And the trouble is, if you're in a relationship where you end up feeling needed, now you need this person. So if they want to walk away, then how dare you? You can get very angry. It's like, no, you can't leave me. So it brings up a lot of fear, and really it's the fear of the child, the abandonment, you know, because if you're not here, I'll die. And I suppose you can't really talk about DV relationships without talking about codependency. And for me, codependency is when the energies come together and they merge. And so, you know, if you're someone that needs someone and you're someone that needs to be needed, like a lock and a key, right? You come together, and it's like, this is what causes this codependency. Now, I think a lot of people think codependency is really bad, but we're all conditioned to be codependent. There's a spectrum of codependency. And we're all a little bit, because we've been conditioned to be that way. You know, when your parents said, you're responsible for my feelings, you made me angry because you didn't do the chores today, then that's the foundation of where codependency starts. And it's not as simple as that. I could talk more about that, but let's keep it simple, keep it basic, you know, so we can kind of get this and understand how we're all motivated and driven and what drives us. You know, I had to learn very early on that my ability to help someone get well, stop doing the things that they were doing that I weren't helping, like having an addiction, I wasn't responsible, because I don't think I'd have lasted 5 minutes if I actually felt I was, because, you know, a lot of people relapse. And is that my fault, my responsibility? No. It's, you know, I've learned I can't need my clients to get well. Because where does that leave me? Where does it leave them? Oh, you better get well, otherwise I'll look bad, I'll feel bad. No, they're not responsible for my feelings. They're not responsible for my success, if you want to call it success. They're not responsible. And they have to go out and live their lives. I'm here to support, coach, help them in any way, work through the healing. Really, that's why, you know, a lot of us, we want to change, and we do it from the outside in, but I don't think that works. I think the only real change is the stuff that happens on the inside, and that's having a relationship with yourself. And right now, there is so much going on in the planet, and we are all being shaken. And this is a wake-up call. Wake up. wake up to realize that it's you. You have to come through. You have to save yourself. This is the hero's journey. You're the hero. You can do this. I know you think you can't sometimes, but you can. And I think once you stop expecting the world, the people in it, your parents, your siblings, to do the things that you won't do, then I think you'll be a lot better off. So expect nothing, accept everything. And I think that's a great line from a book I read, and I can't remember who it was, but anyway. It's like, expect nothing. Come through for yourself. Realize that you can, you will, and you must do it, because no one else is going to do it for you. And so if you don't start treating yourself right, if you don't start having more compassion for yourself, if you're not kinder to yourself, if you stop beating yourself up, stop pleasing everybody, the only person that is really you're responsible is you. And obviously you're responsible to people, but not for them. And as parents, we over-identify, my kid, I don't want him to go through anything because I don't want to go through anything. It's actually quite a selfish thing, I think. I don't know how to manage these emotions, so I don't like seeing my children have them because I don't want them to go through it. And really, that's just about us. We don't want to see them because we're, what I call, the energies have merged. And you have to realize that healthiness is about standing side by side, doing life together. Not because when you're like this, he's unhappy, you're unhappy, she's unhappy, you're unhappy. It's like we're all unhappy. And so you realize, and this can be very painful. It's like separating. And also for a lot of people, even when they know the relationship isn't good and they need to walk away, it feels like they're losing a part of themselves because maybe they've spent a lot of time. Maybe they met this person that when they were very young, and so they grew up together, their energies merged. So leaving this, even though they know it's the right thing to do, feels like they're losing a part of themselves. And that pain, if you don't know how to manage the pain of that, you'll be like, that's too painful, and end up back there. And so you get trapped in this sort of thing where you don't want to be here, but it's too scary to go move away from that person. And that could be parents, that could be a partner, it could be a company, that could be a boss, it could be anything and anyone. And so it's about learning to differentiate, realize that you have to stand on your own 2 feet, and you have to kind of do that thing where you separate out and stand and you do life together. And then because then you really support someone. You can really be there for someone. I can't support someone if we're having this kind of relationship. That's unhealthy. That's toxic. That's doesn't work. And I know it's almost like a lot of parents will come and they're having a problem with their grown-up children, or they're and I say you're not responsible for their happiness. And it's like that's what they've been taught, that's what they're wired in. Oh really? Why do I feel like I am? And I often they'll come and for a permission slip to actually, it's okay to kind of step back and let them go. It's okay. And sometimes those children, grown-up children, might have to fall down. Now it's different when they're kids. Really, you're there. You're like, of course, your responsibility. But as they grow and develop and attain more autonomy and individuality, they move away, and so you back off. You're not there. Like, this is what we call helicopter parents, things like that. So getting back to why people don't leave, I think I understand why people don't leave. Totally understand why people don't leave, and I get it. And I think we have to be compassionate to people that feel so stuck, and hopefully if they get the right help and support and they do some work, because it is work to get well, it is not easy to get well. I don't think it's easy, the hero's journey, but it's worth it, because at the end of it there's freedom, there's autonomy, there's agency, there's self-efficacy, there's the ability to, and all those words mean living life on your terms, and give up what you think you need to do, which is make everyone happy. It's not your job. So I wanted to talk more about that, because I think it's I think we're very judgmental of people that stay, and they are, you know, they're like, why did I stay for so long? What made me? And I want to bring some compassion to people so they can be more compassionate to themselves and start to really come through for themselves in a different way, because I think that is a lot of the key and one step into moving in the right direction. It's not easy, and I don't say it's going to be not uncomfortable, because it will be, but it's just the way it is. And it is a gift and a real privilege for me to sit with a person who is struggling and help them realize that they are so much more powerful than they know themselves to be, as we all are. Anyway, I'll leave it there. It's been 15 minutes already. Oh my gosh, I just don't. I hope that's helpful. I hope, you know, if you want to ask questions, please do. Please like, subscribe. If you want to share it with someone, please do. Take care. Take care. Yeah, it's rough right now at the moment. So you take care. Be kind. Be gentle with yourself. Bye for now.